when you don't have respect for human rights, what do you call a state like that? Those who oppose you.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dokiza TV podcast. Today I want us to discuss the topic, Kenya's descent to lawlessness. 8 alarming signs that we can become another Haiti. For years, we've watched Haiti's story from a distance, a nation crippled by gang lords, a vanished state monopoly on violence, and a failed social contract. But today, we must ask a hard, uncomfortable question: are we watching a preview of Kenya's future? A statement made by former Chief Justice David Maraga cautioning that Kenya is sliding to a precipice next to anarchy and gangsterism seemed to anger senior government officials, including President Ruto himself. Journalists had reported that the former CJ had said Kenya is a failed state, but the CJ clarified that what he said was that Kenya was dangerously sliding towards failure. Why would you want to be president of a failed state? President Ruto reacted to the remarks attributed to the retired Chief Justice. Controversy aside, the signs of an imminent collapse of our security system are no longer whispers, they are screams. Here are 8 undeniable proofs. The 8 signs of a security system in imminent collapse. First, the killing of persons within police cells. Cells are meant for holding suspects, not for executing them. When the state becomes the executioner without trial, it signals a complete breakdown of the justice system. It's lawlessness from the top down. Second, the direct involvement of police officers in violent crimes. We are not just talking about bribery. We are talking about cops acting as robbers, hitmen, and kidnappers. The uniform, meant to represent safety, is now a tool of terror. Even police bosses acknowledge that a worrying high number of uniformed officers are being linked to crimes. Third, the abduction of dissenters. Young Kenyans criticizing the government are often forcibly disappeared in broad daylight by people identified as police. The perpetrators are never apprehended, sending a chilling message: dissent is a crime punishable by disappearance. Fourth, the shooting of peaceful protesters. We saw it during the Gen Z protests. Live ammunition was used on unarmed, peaceful citizens exercising a constitutional right. To date, not a single culprit has been held accountable. Impunity is now official policy. Fifth, the new, unofficial fuel for service policy. This is one of the most ludicrous policies ever uttered by a cabinet secretary. Imagine being told you must fuel a police vehicle for them to respond to a robbery. This isn't just corruption, it's the commercialization of security. If you can't pay, you aren't protected. In other words, the state has outsourced its core function to the victim. Sixth, gangs operating alongside police during demonstrations. During the Gen Z protests, videos circulated of armed gangs moving in tandem with police, attacking protesters. When law enforcement colludes with lawbreakers, the line between order and anarchy vanishes. Seventh, Ponga-wielding gangs terrorizing counties like Mombasa and Kweli. These gangs attack people at will in their homes and businesses. Their brazen operations suggest they have no fear of being stopped. Why would they, if they have protection? Eighth, the use of gangs to disrupt rallies of government critics. This is straight from the failed state playbook. Instead of competing with ideas, the state uses criminal elements to silence opposition, effectively merging political power with gangsterism. So, what does all this mean for a progressive Kenya? Agreeably, the police has taken some measures on a number of the above-mentioned issues, sometimes half-heartedly, while in some situations nothing done so far, which gives room to impunity and injustices to persist. If this continues, the idea of a progressive Kenya is a joke. Here are the dire consequences. 1. The failed state tag. We inch closer to being a nation where the government has lost its basic mandate, to protect life and property. This scares away investors, isolates us globally, and destroys our economy. 2. Rise of gangs and vigilantes. When the state fails, people create their own security. We will see an explosion of vigilante groups and militias. It's a recipe for a bloody, communal conflict. 3. Total erosion of public trust. The social contract will be shattered. No one will report crimes to the police. No one will believe in the judiciary. The government will become an enemy to its own people. 4. Brain drain and economic collapse. The skilled, the talented, and the young will live in droves. Who would build a future in a country where safety is not guaranteed? All said and done. What needs to be done? This descent is not inevitable. We can stop it, but it requires decisive, practical action. 1. Overhaul police leadership. We must clean house. The current leadership has failed. We need new, vetted commanders with a proven record of integrity. 2. Empower independent oversight. Bodies like IPOA must be fully funded, be more assertive, and their recommendations made mandatory. Police killers and kidnappers in uniform must be prosecuted publicly. 3. Community policing for real. Dismantle the us versus them mentality. Police stations must be accountable to the communities they serve, with local oversight committees. 4. Political will at the top. The government must stop using gangs and police as political tools. The order to protect every Kenyan, regardless of their political opinion, must come from the very top. 5. Citizen vigilance. We must continue to document, speak up, and demand accountability. Silence is complicity. The road to Haiti is paved with silence and impunity. Kenya is at a crossroads. We must choose and act now. People who enjoy state security can afford to moralize and claim that Kenyans are safe, but the Kenyan in the street knows and can feel that security in this country has deteriorated more than any other time in history since 1963. What are your thoughts? Shouldn't we get concerned with our broken security system, or do we simply overlook and assume all is fine? Let's have a conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more incisive analysis.
Why are we saying captured? I have told you about Parliament, the police. How they are just being, used, or misused to keep those who are in power to remain